Hi everybody, welcome back to Same Same But Different. My name is Amira and I'm joined today with Laila, coming all the way from Kuwait. So hello.
Hey,
So Laila, to start us off, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
so I am originally from Kuwait. My mom is Kuwaiti, my dad's Indian. And I was actually born in the States because my parents used to visit a lot, like every year. Like even after that, I would always visit the States. And then I studied there for 5 years in Washington, D.C. There, when I was studying there, that's when I ended up getting into rescue.
Mhm.
It was actually an accident in a way. I got an internship at a rescue, and it was a marketing internship. I was
Okay.
helping them with their social media. So that's how it began. Like it began with like helping them with their social media to attending, seeing sitting with other people at their office,
Mhm.
going to events, and then it went to, oh, maybe Winston needs a friend. Let me try to foster, and then it just went uphill, out of control after that.
You mentioned Winston. Could
Mhm.
you tell us a little bit about that story, please?
Okay, I'm not gonna go into detail because, of course, it's really hard. I encourage anyone, like, if you guys want to know more about it, just check the link in my bio because there's a lot of pieces to it.
Mhm.
But the gist to it is that I had a cat named Winston. He was my first cat, first and last, or first and only cat. Incredible cat. Like if I have to say it in Arabic, يعني شوية ويتكلم. Like he's like a human
Yeah.
in a cat's body,
Mhm.
super loyal, super loving, very smart, greets you at the door, likes going for walks in the hallway. He was such a special cat. He was amazing. We had like a bond like no other. Whenever I used to rescue orphan kittens, he would, which was really surprising. He at first, like the first time he met orphan kittens, he was like scared and he was hissing.
Yeah.
And then like by the next day he like warmed up and he would take care of them with me. He would like help them pee and poop because they can't do that on their own. Once I caught him carrying a kitten by the scruff like a mom would do. After I graduated, I had to move back to Kuwait because that's where I'm from. That's where my family is. And when I was going back, of course I have to take Winston with me. And I made sure that I had all the correct documents and paperwork way beforehand. Like this is like almost a year before that date of planning,
Wow.
constantly. And then on the flight back, he wasn't in cargo.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, when I arrived and I was about to leave, the cops stopped me and they checked the paperwork and everything. Actually, they didn't even check it. They just told me to take it and they didn't even look at it because apparently they have to do their own thing and the animals that come in have to go see the vet regardless of the fact that you have all the correct paperwork, regardless.
Okay.
So then he surprised me and he was like, I got up to leave with him. I thought I was done. And then he was like, no, we have to take him. I'm like, okay, I'm coming. And he's like, no, he has to go alone. It's a place where like only employees are allowed to go to, like staff, people aren't allowed to go there. And I argued and argued and argued, not with one cop, two, maybe four cops. Like I was going insane. I'm sure he was already tired and exhausted. Something that I never mentioned before is that he gets stressed really easily.
Mhm.
So I spoke with the doctors like months prior, and I said, like, is there anything I can give him to get him to like calm down, not put him out, but just be calm, kind
Yeah.
of drowsy. And we tested it out beforehand. Everything was great, so that he was on medication to make him more relaxed and chill. They ended up taking him after I argued for a long time, and they said that it was a rule, it was a law, and I wasn't allowed to go with him because it was in the area where planes land. They told me to come back in like a couple of hours and meet Winston at like the cargo area. And they're like, yeah, he's gonna be there in a couple of hours. And like, even though I was so pissed, a part of me was like, okay, listen, like this is the only thing that calmed me down. I was like, listen, it's the situation is shitty, okay, and it sucks. But worst case scenario, it's just a couple more hours and then he's gonna be home. So when I went and I waited, I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm like, what happened? Like, where is he? And then they informed me that while they were transporting him from the airport to the vet, which is just a few minutes away, according to them, he opened the crates and he ran away. He escaped. Obviously, I went hysterical, like absolutely hysterical.
Of course, I can't even.
I went crazy. I begged, I was like, can you please let me search for him? I begged them repeatedly. They were like, no, it was just really hard. Like I spent 3 days nonstop. I didn't even go home. Like maybe I went home to like nap for a couple hours. And then I was there the entire time. The amount of support that I got both from the community in Kuwait and, the entire world, like worldwide, and my rescue friends online, that helped me a lot. So while all this was happening, people were trying to help me. And for example, they say like, oh, I work at the airport, or I know someone that might help you, or, it was like constantly talking with, going to place after place after place to try to get myself to go there, because at the end of the day, he's my cat. He only trusts me. I know how he thinks. I understand that it's a huge place. The chances of him being found with me would be so much higher.
Of course.
But unfortunately, about 3 days later, they informed me that he passed away, and they gave me back his body, and it was one of the worst moments of my entire life. It was horrible, horrible. I'm still so traumatized, and it's been like a year and a half maybe, and it still plays in my head over and over again. I didn't even get to say goodbye to him. My family thought that it would be less hurtful if they buried him without me there, and it was not the right move. Yeah, I didn't even get to say goodbye. So it was really hard. And yeah, so that's what happened. Of course, I filed a lawsuit against them. And it was really hard, because it's like you have to constantly tell the story, constantly go back to these shitty memories, reliving it, going to the police station, talking to the investigator. It was so mentally exhausting. And during that time, people kept saying like, we want to help you in any way possible. Let us help you with the funds for the lawsuit. And I was like, okay, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And I was like, if you guys want to help, that's totally fine. I appreciate any help that I can get. As I said, I'm still blown away with the amount of support that I got. So I was able to get to that goal and even above. And then during the lawsuit, so I'm going to be talking about something that I haven't talked about before. And I feel like it's easier getting it out of my chest here, because it's been extremely hard for me to talk about. I've recorded myself multiple times. I keep erasing it. So during the lawsuit, we were at like the first phase. I already like paid the lawyer. Basically, you have installments, different phases, depending on how deep you are in the lawsuit. I sued the cargo company, because that's where Winston went missing. Like it was under their responsibility, not the airport, not the airlines. I'm just gonna get it out there, just the cargo company. So throughout the entire time, they've been saying, let's work together. Like, well, we want to make things right. Maybe we can come to an agreement, and we'll do, whatever you like. Like, we'll try our best. And of course, I'm gonna say like, sorry for my language. I'm gonna say screw you. Of course, I'm gonna say screw you. Like, why would I even want to talk to them after they ruined everything and killed my baby? Like, why? Throughout it all, my main purpose was to make a change, because I didn't want anyone to go through the pain that I went through, and I didn't want the pet to go through what Winston went through, which, by the way, he passed away due to a heat stroke. I swore to myself, and I promised people that that's my goal. That's what I want to do. As much as I care about getting caught up with my feelings and wanting revenge and all that stuff, my number one priority is just making a change.
Yeah.
So after I spoke with my lawyer, like as time passed by, we talked a few times, and he said that, if this is what you want to do, it's going to be very challenging to do through the lawsuit. There's not great outcomes when it comes to animal rights. Basically, I'm not going to get the change that I want. He was like, you know what, why don't you just listen to what the cargo company has to say? Yeah, like there's basically nothing for you to lose at this point. So it took a lot of convincing, and I had to remind myself what I was standing up for, like what my goal was. So I pushed myself, and it was so freaking hard, so hard to meet with them. And we sat down and we talked, and it was, I don't want to go into too much detail. There were a few times where I got really upset. Point is, they said that, so the main issue with, what happened was the transportation vehicle that they used to transport Winston. The transportation vehicle wasn't even a vehicle. It was like this cart that they load luggage on. And it's like unstable and keep in mind, guys, okay, the weather in Kuwait is unbearably hot. For those of you that know and go by Celsius, we can get up to 50 degrees Celsius. For those of you, my American friends, it goes up to like 120 or 110 or something like that. And this whole thing happened in the summer, so they didn't even consider the animals in any way possible. They just was like, yeah, okay, like we'll just put them in this cart just like luggage and we're gonna transport them. That was the main issue. That's when he got lost. So they told me that they were going to change the vehicle and they were going to make it more safe. Because that's what I said. I was like, this is not acceptable at all, transporting them in that vehicle.
No, of course not.
They were like, okay, fine, we'll do that. And then also usually when they take the pet away, they say meet us at the cargo place. And to be honest, it's not that appealing. The sitting area, it's not the best. People who have been through similar know what I'm talking about. We used to not, we weren't allowed to be with the vet when our pet arrives. What I asked them to do was make like a tiny reception room with a vet's office inside. So that and let me make this clear to you guys, I can't change the rule of them taking the pet away from you, which is the worst part in my opinion. And there's only so much that I can do. If it was up to me, it would be a lot more different. But at the end of the day, I'm dealing with a cargo company. I'm not dealing with the airport. I did whatever that I can do, and that's in my power. And so there's this reception area, and after your pet gets transported, you meet with the vet at this small facility.
Okay.
So that your pet can be checked with by the vet with you being present. Of course, they said, yeah, we're gonna do it. And they expected me to just drop the entire thing. And I'm like, no, like I want to see it. I want to see it myself. So thankfully, a few months later, they gave me a call. They said, come, we want to show you what we did. And there was actually a van, especially for animal transportation, like a minivan. And it had crates inside so that even if hypothetically the pet escapes or the zipper is open or something's not closed, they can't run away because it's in a crate. Like you put the carrot in the crate, and it has AC and everything. So I'm very thankful that I was able to make that change. And then I saw the small reception that I made, that I told them to make. It was like acceptable. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade.
That is wonderful that you did not give up and that you kept fighting for this.
I had to bite my tongue a lot and try to keep my cool a lot and try to stay in control so that I don't wreck the entire thing. So as of a couple months ago, we settled the case. Is it the perfect outcome? No. Is it the most that I am capable of doing? I am one person, okay? I'm not even Kuwaiti, technically. I'm a woman. I'm alone. It's hard. These are the changes. This is the only thing that I can do right now. I'm glad that at least there's a change. It's not the perfect outcome, but I tried my best. They also said that they were going to send me like a small compensation, which it's literally small. And then those funds go straight into TNR. I even already spent some money because I was TNRing some neighborhood cats. So that's basically it. I just want to thank everyone for like all the ongoing support, the comments, the reposts, the personal messages, reaching out to me personally, everything. I appreciate everyone that was there and the community. The one thing that I got from this is knowing how strong we can become if we all come together and fight for something. I have no words. I have no words. Forever thankful. Like I said, because I ended up only paying for the first amount at the lawsuit, there's still, another amount that I didn't cover. So all the funds are going to go into my rescue work, straight into that. Transportation. When I mean transportation, I mean getting them from Kuwait to the States, which is literally a killer. TNR, medical expenses, supplies, stuff like that. It's going to help a lot. So I'm really thankful for anyone and everyone that try to help me in any way possible.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this story on Same Same But Different. And I honestly, I remember the first time I read about Winston and kind of saw your story, I was in the middle of the ocean on a boat going back from Finland to Germany. And I was in like pools of tears. It was just such a sad story. And I saw like the love and the support. And it is just like you say, it comes to show how people come together for a cause as important as this. And I think you mentioned something so important, that you are only one person. And that if that is anything to make people see that we all need to work together to help and to make a difference.
So after the whole thing happened with Winston, I promised myself that any pet or animal that I rescue is to honor him
Of course.
under his name. He's in like everything that I do with rescue. That's, I guess, my mission, is to honor him by giving back to the community, helping animals, and he's in everything that I do, for sure. And something else as well, like even though, for example, I don't post about him much or I don't talk about him, the wound is still fresh and I'm not even 1% over it.
Of course.
Still fresh in my mind. Yeah.
But I feel like that's something that so many people think, or like a misconception, that after grief, just because you don't talk about it or you don't cry visibly 24/7, it means you're over it. And nobody can say anything like that, because obviously you're not. But what you're doing is so admirable, and you're definitely making him proud. So that's really wonderful. And he is even in the name of your association, your page, right?
Yeah. Rescue for Winston, literally.
Yeah, that's
That's
great.
what it's about.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. And yeah.